Hello chiffon lovers, welcome to the channel. Today, if it's your first time on this channel or you are yet to subscribe, please click on the subscribe button. And to my old subscribers, you know how we do it. Please like and comment and share. If you want to learn how to draft this princess bustier with a sweetheart neckline, please keep watching. Here are the materials needed to sew this, and we're going to start sewing from the front pattern. Here I just laid down my pattern paper. I folded it into two. Please make sure you fold your pattern into two, and I just use my tape to hold it so that it doesn't move. Next, I'm marking out my shoulder point. This will serve as the beginning line for all my measurements. From my shoulder, I'm just going to mark to the waist. My waist measurement is 17 inches. And next, I'm going to mark my bust point. This is the measurement from my shoulder to my nipples, and I'm going to just mark that line. Above my bust point, I'm going to take 2 inches above, which will serve as my chest line, and beneath it I'm going to take another 2 inches, which will serve as my under bust measurement. So that's the chest line, the bust line, the under bust measurement, my waistline, and my shoulder. Next, on the shoulder line, I will just mark my shoulder width, which is 16 divided by 2. I'll mark it on my shoulder, and I'll mark it on my chest line. On that line created, I'll just go down by 1 inch for my shoulder slope, and then just rule a line. Next, to get my dart, I'm going to divide my nipple to nipple measurement by 2. My nipple to nipple is 8 divided by 2, that's 4, and I added ½ inches for seam allowance. I'm going to use my ruler now to join that. On the side to the center front, I'm just going to add ½ inch on my waistline and my under bust line and connect the line. And to the side facing the edge, I'm just going to make 1.5 inches like so. Just look at the video like I've done. Then from the bust line, I'm just going to come under by 1 inch, and I'm going to use the curve for my pattern master just to connect those 2 points together like this. Okay. Next, guys, I'm going to measure the length of my shoulder, or my armhole rather, from my shoulder to my chest line, which is 8, and I divided by 2, that is 4. I mark my point, and then from that point I just came in by 0.75. On my chest line, I marked my bust measurement divided by 4. Just mark that point there, and I used my curve rule to connect those 3 points together like so. So just ensure that you keep your rule in place and connect those 3 lines together. And if you don't have your rule, you can use your hand to do that. Very easy. Next, I'm just going to use my tape to confirm the length of the curve, and I have 10 inches there. I have 10 inches there. I just want to get the half of it, which is 5. So I'll use my tape rule again just to get 5, and I'll mark that point. From my bust line, I'm just going to come up by ½ inch, which I've just done. I'm just going to roll that, even if you might not see the difference much, but yes. Then I'm going to connect that point to the point I made on my armhole like so. Next, now I would come from that point on my armhole. I'm just going to mark ½ inch above it and ½ inch below it, and I'm also going to use my curve rule to connect them to that point we made above our bust line. So just look at how it is so easy. Ensure that everything is in place. Ensure that it meets the points at the right place. Okay, so this is how the pattern looks now. Next, I'm just going to go up from the last point. I'm going to go by 1 inch. I went in by 1 inch, but I advise you to go by 1.5 inch so I can have enough room for space. And on my chest line, I'm just going to add 1 inch for allowance, and then connect this new point and that point together. Next, now I'm just going to add my seam allowance, which is 2 inches added to my chest line. My waist measurement divided by 4, I just marked it. Then my dart line, the mark I took for my dart, that is 2 inches. I added it, and then my 2 inches for seam allowance. Then I'm just going to use my curve rule to connect those lines together. Now for the sweetheart neck. For this sweetheart neck, I'm going to make my neck width rather to be 4 inches and my neck depth to be 7 inches. Depends on what you want. It could be 6, it could be lower, it could be higher, depends on you. And from that point I just came down by 4 inches, and then using my pattern master, I will just use the French curve in the pattern master to make sure that my curve is neat. I'll just connect those 2 points like that. Very easy, guys, very easy. So that's it for the sweetheart neck. Just going to add my ½ inch seam allowance to my shoulder, and I'm also going to mark out the points I don't need on that cloth. And this is my cutting. This is how I'm going to cut. So just watch carefully how we cut it off. Cut out all the bad people in our lives. Yeah, so this I'm just going to cut out. Just follow it, guys. Just follow the way I'm cutting it, because we are cutting 2 pieces for the front. So the lines asterisk are the ones I don't need, so I'm just going to cut with what we have them. Okay, I'm taking my time to cut because I don't want mistakes. This is one of the major mistakes that people make, so that's why I'm taking my time to show you how to cut this. I would advise you to also use a small scissors, because my scissors was big and I couldn't access my small scissors at that point, so I just had to use a smaller scissors so that it doesn't stress you. So I've cut out one part like so. Now I'm just going to cut out the other parts. That's for the center front now. So this is me just showing you the points I need. So we don't need that small part there, so we're just going to cut it off. Cut it off, cut it off, cut it off, cut it off. Please don't be distracted by my singing, just focus on the cutting. Okay, so this is me rounding up the cutting. Please make sure you cut directly on the line, not before or after. So this is how my front pattern looks like. This is how the pattern will come out, and I will show you how to join it. Okay, now for the back pattern, I just went ahead to lay my pattern down. I didn't have to double it this time around, and I took 2 inches for my zipper allowance, came down by 1 inch for my shoulder line. Then I just took all the points I took before for my on chest line, bust line, under bust, my waist. I just took all those measurements again. The same thing we did at the front. So I'll come to my bust, measure my bust measurement divided by 4, mark that point. Then for my darts, I just came in by 4 inches plus my ½ inch. That's for my nipple to nipple, and I connected that line all the way to my bust line. So I'll just take ½ inch from my waistline of that dart like so and connect it to my bust line. So here I added 2 inches seam allowance. For my waist divided by 4, I add 1 inch for my dart line and 2 inches for my seam allowance. I just connect that line like so. So just marked my shoulder measurement on my chest line just so I can get an accurate measurement, and I come down by 1 inch and connect it to my shoulder line. Okay, so this one we don't need to go inside by 0.75 because it's the back. It doesn't accommodate the bust, so I just did that with my curve rule. If you don't have your curve rule, like I said before, you can just use your hand. My neck width was 4 inches like my front, so I just connected it. My depth was 1.5. You can go in by 1 inch, it just depends on you. I just go in by 1.5 because that was what my clients want. Next, on my zip allowance, I'll just come down from my waist point at 0.5, that's ½ inch, and connect it to the edge of my neckline at the top there. Okay guys, so this is how it turned out. Now we are going to cut the pattern. So this is how we cut it. Very easy guys. Oh, I forgot to also take my shoulder measurement. I'm sorry about that. So I took my ½ inch shoulder allowance and just quickly did that and cut it. Okay, this is my back pattern. And those are my front patterns. Front has 2 pieces and back. Thank you guys for watching.
I never listened to the words you said.